Hello everyone, my name is Jaybird and welcome back to AIRIS. We're gonna go for ending number 2, which is You Are My Home. And we have to load this one. And of course I'm gonna be skipping all the stuff that we have seen before. So we're just gonna skip till, we're just gonna skip everything that we haven't seen before. And okay, I have to say, maybe you should give Kylan a chance. I know you've never liked him nor trusted him since the start, but I think he's a good person. Why not give him a chance and get to know him before writing him off? You've known him for barely 2 weeks. How can you say for sure that he's a good person? Lyle cuts me off, shaking their head slightly. No, I don't want to argue with you. You're not gonna believe me no matter what I say, so there's no point in my talking about this. You'll see soon enough anyway. Yeah, we'll just skip on ahead. We're going to say, I shouldn't spy on Kylan. I shouldn't spy on him. Don't be silly. We're not spying on him. That's creepy. Don't you want to see what he's doing with that device? He said he's an inventor. It's probably just one of his creations. It's none of our business, Lyle. Shrugging off Lyle's hand impatiently, I stumble towards Kylan, whose head immediately whips towards me at the sound of the grass rustling. Kylan! Alia? Yeah, we can skip all this. What should I say now? You love mysteries and finding out answers, don't you? Okay. Huh? Kylan jerks back to attention, and it takes him a second before he realizes what I just said and blinks in response. Oh, I guess I'm just a curious person. Giving him a light nudge in the side with my elbow, I flash him a teasing grin. More like nosy. I haven't forgotten about your eavesdropping the first time we met. I was not eavesdropping. We were just talking at such a deafening volume that it was impossible not to overhear. Look who's talking. You're speaking so loudly you're scaring off all the creatures in a 10-mile radius. Perfect. I don't feel like hunting down sick creatures anymore anyway. I roll my eyes at him and grab his left arm in a tight hold so he can't escape on his own. You're coming with me. Your meat shield. Yes, please be my meat shield. I'll be your meat shield if you know what I'm saying. Hey! What should I do now? Leave so as not to disturb him. Oh, really? Okay. He's used to working alone, isn't he? He would probably feel uncomfortable if I peer at him while he works. I probably shouldn't bother him. I watched Kylan bent over the table with his brows furrowed for a heartbeat longer before sliding out of my chair as quietly as I can manage. He looked so absorbed in what he was doing that I'm surprised when Kylan's head snaps up at my motions. Wait, you're leaving already? Oh, yeah, I didn't want to distract you from your work. No. You want a distraction. It's very considerate of you, but please feel free to stay. I don't want to intrude. It wouldn't be intruding. Pausing, Kylan ducks his head slightly before continuing. I'm always alone in my house working on stuff like this. It would be nice to have someone beside me for once. Oh. I mean, unless you have something else to tend to, then by all means, please go. I don't want to keep you from your own job. There's something about the shy smile playing at the corner of his lips and the glint of what appears to be loneliness in his eyes that makes his request impossible to turn down. Which is just as well, as I have to admit. I was curious about what he does anyway. With a pleased smile, I returned to my seat, propping my head up on my hands. I have nothing to do all day. I guess you'll just have to put up with me then. Charming smile spreads across his face, and he nods in acknowledgement at me before bending his head over the table again. Silently observe Kylan's motions, captivated by the look of utter concentration on his face and the practiced movements of his fingers. Oh yeah, I think I can skip all this. Sorry, I got too lost in it. How do I respond to Kyle's praise? I learned from you. You're supposed to say, I learned from you. From me? Yes, remember that fight against the boars in the dungeon that time? I remember what you said about analyzing the attack patterns, so I tried to use the same method. I guess it worked out. Kylan blinks, his lips parting, but no words come out. I realize with satisfaction that I've stunned him, and I have a feeling that he's not often rendered speechless. What? But ever is not... I mean, being able to think on your feet like that against such a difficult opponent is very impressive. I'm not all brawn and no brains, you know? I may be a warrior instead of a mage, but I don't rely on pure strength either. I guess I might have underestimated you. Let that be the last time you do so. Kylan gives a light chuckle, sliding one hand in his pocket. Of course, right. I apologize. To make it up for you, how about I offer you a quest with the promise of a money reward? Money. Ah! Oh yeah, this part. Ah! Now look at that boy guy. Look at that guy wink at us. Did you see how many times he winked at it? Us, goddamn. It's so fun to watch the characters' faces move all the time. It's great. Go to the tavern anyway. We're going to the tavern anyway. Yep. I'm fine, Teddy. I don't want to stand Kylan up. He said he had something to talk to me about, so I'm sure it's important. I need to go. Teddy glares at me for a beat longer before rolling her eyes at me.
Ilya, you are such a lovesick idiot.
What are you talking about? Don't be ridiculous, Teddy. Look, I'm blushing, though. I just don't think it's right to stand a friend up. I'm going to be fine.
Sure, of course, it's just that.
Ignoring the heat that's inexplicably rising to my cheeks, I scramble to my feet. I try not to let the effort show on my face, but it doesn't stop Teddy from sending me a look of concern.
You're really going to insist on going?
I'm fine, Teddy. Teddy lets out a long sigh before giving in, inching closer so that she's right by my feet.
You're so stubborn. Fine, I'll go with you to make sure you don't faint midway and hit your head. You're already dumb enough without getting another knock on the head.
Hey! Despite Teddy's insult, I reach out to give her a pat on the head and a grateful smile. Thank you, Teddy.
Hurry up and let's go. I don't have all day. Get Kylan to walk you home, alright? I'll see you back there.
Startled, I lean against the door frame and peer down at Teddy. Wait, you're not coming in with me?
No, I wouldn't want to be the third wheel. I'll leave you two lovebirds alone.
What are you talking about? Teddy, you little delusional... I hiss a warning at Teddy, but she only cackles like an evil witch and gives me a sly wink before scampering off. Ugh, that stupid bear. Was that Teddy? Why did she leave already? I almost leap out of my skin at the sound of Kylan's voice, horrified at the thought that he might have heard what Teddy said before I remember that he can't understand her words. Turning around with a low, embarrassed laugh, I avoid his eyes. Nothing. She just had something to do. Hi, Kylan. Hey, I'm not like you to be late. Is everything all right? Oh, yeah, of course. I force a grin at him and move away from the doorframe that I'm still leaning on for support, intending to head for the nearest empty table, but I almost lose my balance and fall. Thankfully, Kylan manages to grab my shoulders to right me before I fall flat on my face. No, you're definitely not fine. Kylan eyes me up and down. Oh, boy, you should be doing that with concern. Oh, the corners of his lips turning downwards. Oh, he don't like what he sees. Come on, I'll walk you to our table. Gratefully, I take the arm he offers, and we begin making our way through the tavern at a snail's pace. With a relieved sigh, I settle in the chair, smiling at Kylan in gratitude. Thanks. You're welcome. You know, if you're sick, you shouldn't have come. I would understand. I know, well, you said you had something to talk to me about, right? So I assume it's important. Kylan pauses almost imperceptibly before shaking his head. It's nothing. More importantly right now, be honest with me. Did you have another blackout, Aelia? I hesitate, pushing aside the instinctive urge to deny it, and nod. Yeah, this one lasted from morning till evening, apparently. You don't remember anything as usual? Not a single thing. Are you hurt? Did you get the same disorientation this time? Any headaches? I can only shake my head, unable to keep up with his rapid-fire questions. Do you remember how it started? Did anything trigger it? Overwhelmed by his interrogation, coupled with the shock and fear from losing my memory of the whole day, I find myself suddenly close to tears, the words bursting out of my mouth in an almost angry yell. I don't know. I don't know anything. Please don't ask me anymore. Pulling my legs up to my chest, I rest my head against my knees. Kylan doesn't speak for a long moment, and I almost thought he had left when I feel him move to sit next to me. Oh boy! I'm sorry, that was insensitive of me. I just really want to figure out what's going on. I sneak a peek at Kylan, who has a deep frown etched on his forehead. His genuine desire to help me discover the root cause of my problem is evident. So I'm guessing that this sounds a lot like the same thing that happened, but it was at the, when we blacked out at the, that one shop. This sounds like a lot like the same conversation. His genuine desire to help me discover the root cause of my problem is evident, and my anger drains away, leaving behind guilt for lashing out at him. I know. I'm sorry. I just don't know how to deal with this. I'm scared. I don't know what's wrong with me. The confession falls from my lips, startling even myself. But now that the gates have opened, all my suppressed fears come flooding out. What if this never goes away? What if I'll have gaps in my memory every few weeks for the rest of my life? What if this gets worse? What if I were up to no good during the blackouts? Who knows, I might be a serial killer and I just don't remember my murdering sprees. A sound that sounds suspiciously like a chuckle escapes Kylan, but when I glance at him, he has a straight face that is void of any amusement. I know it's weird and I don't know how to explain it, but I just don't feel like myself. Does that make any sense? Yeah, I feel like... Can I just skip all this? Yeah, I can skip all this because we have already seen that text before. Okay, what is Lyle doing? What oath is so important that we're gonna persuade Lyle to tell me. I know Lyle will refuse, but I have to at least try. I need to know what Lyle is keeping from me. Lyle, it's me. I'm your best friend. Why can't you tell me? You know you can trust me with anything. Lyle looks pained and they take another swig of beer. I can't. I want to tell you, I really do. It's killing me to keep this to myself, but I can't. It's a magic binding oath. I can't tell you even if I tried. I slide them a suspicious look, but they continue to stare down at the drink. Letting out a sigh, I throw my arms up in the air and surrender. Okay, fine. You can't break the oath, but you can at least tell me why you're avoiding me. Avoiding me? How is that related to your oath or what you suspect Kylan to be? Yeah, we could skip all this. We don't care. Do I actually believe... No, there must be some mistake. Kylan, a dangerous traitor? The memory of Kylan's childish delight when he listened to my recitation of old tales and lores flashed across my mind, and I shake my head vehemently. No, I don't believe that. Kylan isn't our enemy, and he's not dangerous. I trust him. I've known him for over a month. I think I know what kind of person he is by now. Yeah, we don't care. Yeah, we don't care. Otherwise, I won't get paid for the work I've already done. Knowing the merchant, he's going to use my fainting as an excuse not to pay a single coin, even though I've accompanied him almost the entire way. And I could really use the money. That's the only reason I accepted this quest, knowing what a nightmare it'd be. I've come this far. I can't pass out now. I need to at least finish this mission and get paid first. Gritting my teeth, yeah, we know. Try getting answers out of him in a roundabout way. Okay. He looks skittish, almost like a lost bunny that will dart away at the slightest rustling of the grass. Maybe I shouldn't be too confrontational. If being subtle doesn't work, then I'll demand answers directly. The shopkeeper must have gone mad or something. Probably had too much to drink. Yeah, probably. Kylan looks uncomfortable, his voice a reluctant, low murmur. But I've heard that the shopkeeper is too scared of his wife to drink. She disapproves of alcohol heavily. Could it be that I was hallucinating? Do you think something's wrong with my brain? Am I going to die? No, nothing's wrong with you. The guilt is written all over Kylan's face now, and he can't meet me in the eyes. Keeping my voice soft and unassuming, I move in for the kill. Then, do you know the reason? Perhaps you may have your guesses? Kylan's eyes widen, and he whips around to give me a hard stare.
You fucking got us! You fucking got us!
Hey, give it up for Kylan! Hey! He figured us out. You could tell I was lying, couldn't you? You were just trying to get the answer out of me subtly. I bite my lip and give a small shrug, knowing there's no point in trying to lie when I've been caught red-handed. Sorry, I just think I deserve to know the truth. I expected Kylan to grow angry, but instead he lets out a sigh, a small smile tugging at the corner of his lips. That almost worked. I'm impressed. He gives a small shake of his head, his face contorting into a pained expression. You're right. You do deserve to know. The guilt is killing me. The words keep coming to the tip of my tongue, but I don't have the courage to say them. To be honest, alien, you already know the truth. You've just forgotten. What? Well, yeah, we don't care.
Yeah, we've already seen all this before, man.
Ask him why he's here. Yeah, ask him why he's here. I try to tug my arm out of his grasp gently, but he keeps it in a tight hold. I'm not done yet. I don't care. Why are you here, Kylan?
I brought him here.
I turn to give Teddy a scowl.
Don't look at me like that. You were being a stubborn idiot. I had to do something, so I ran off to get help. Kylan happened to be nearby, so I had no choice. It's a good thing he was here to help bandage your wounds after I tracked you down by smell, because I thought you were going to die again for bleeding out.
Again?
Yes. We think you died in the dungeons and revived here. You don't remember that?
I blink in surprise, recalling the explosion of pain before darkness consumed me. So I died, huh? Well, I guess now I know that at least they weren't lying about life. Fine. Wait, fine? What am I saying fine to? Fine. Feeling awkward, I offer him my arm. Oh, I guess you said fine. automatically for him to heal us. Yeah, we don't care. We don't care. Perhaps I shouldn't be so angry at Kylan. Yes, he lied to me, but I can understand why he did it. I think I would have done the same if our positions were swapped. At least he told me the truth in the end. I suppose. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be talking about this again. I know that all this is a lot to take in. Are you alright? Am I alright? How do I feel about all this? I'm just glad I at least know the truth now. Yep. I'm fine. I'm just glad I know the truth now. It's better than still being kept in the dark about it. Kylan nods, a glimmer of both respect and sympathy in his eyes. Ignorance is always bliss. The truth may hurt, but it's also important. You don't need to pretend to be fine if you aren't, though, you know? Your reaction is completely understandable. I would be in shock, too. Would be? Didn't you go through this as well when you retired and were told of this? How did you react? Kylan's eyes widened almost imperceptibly before giving yes, la 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 la. You know, he's lying. Looking down, I find myself unconsciously wrapping my hand around my left arm where his bandages were. Holding my arm close to my chest, an odd feeling of warmth spreading across my chest. Boy. Yeah, okay, whatever. We're going to send Teddy to... Oh, yeah. Okay, send Teddy D. I just need a few more minutes to listen to the players. A few minutes of delay won't hurt. I'm gonna take a sip of iced tea. Delicious. Oh, god damn it. I got like condensation. I got condensation on my drawing pad. Gross. There we go. Condensation. How long have I been recording for? Oh my god, 22 minutes. Holy shit. Okay. We gotta hurry this shit up, man. I don't got all day. I cast another anxious gaze at the players that are moving further and further away. And I hastily nudged Teddy towards the vassals. Teddy can go in my stead for now. Teddy, will you go with them to look for Lyle?
Of course. What about you, Alia? Are you not coming?
I will. I have something important to do first. It'll only take a minute, I swear. I'll catch up with you as soon as I'm done. Teddy sends me a confused glare before running towards the group, gesturing to make them understand her intention to join. I hurry to catch up with the players, throwing one last concerned glance at the search party. They haven't gone far, still walking at a snail's pace as they chatter among themselves. Guides. They said the most ideal setup doesn't involve that lightning spell you just bought the other day.
Come on. Did I invest in the wrong set of spells again? Damn, I really need more coins.
Hey, I'm already on the set on gear, so if you need money, you can take the loot I get in the dungeon later.
Really? Thanks, man. You're a real bro.
Yo, Raylan replied. She said to save her a spot in the party.
I'll ready to meet you at the entrance then. Gotta go pick up some more potions and repair my armor.
The second player waves and veers away from the path, walking towards the blacksmith instead. That's it? Slightly disappointed at the lack of real information, I turn and head back where I came from, sighing to myself. No more wasting time. I need to look for Lyle. Okay. Teddy, can you hear me? Where are you guys? There's no reply from the other than the chirping of the birds and leaves rustling in the soft breeze. Damn it! I can't catch up with the search party. Looks like I have to search on my own. Pick a random direction and begin. Yeah, okay. Lyle? Lyle, can you hear me? Are you there? Right when I'm about to... We're gonna just... Can we skip? Lyle, you're safe! Everyone's leave at the... Given the tight hug, they let out a surprised laugh before wrapping their arms around me in return. I am. What's going on? Why are you here? I heard the patrol party you were in still hasn't returned after hours, so I went searching for you. There's a search party out here too, I think. What happened? Where's the rest of your group? They're down by the river. Everyone's fine. We got ambushed by some creatures on patrol, and half of us got pretty bad injuries. I've healed them so they aren't in any mortal danger, but they're asleep from my potions, and it's not wise to move them right now. We were going to head back as a group before night falls. I let out a sigh of relief at the good news, and I beamed at Lyle. I'm really glad you're safe, Lyle. I was worried. I trust Kylan not to lie to me about something that's important. Whatever Kylan's faults are, I doubt he'd make up such a crazy, ridiculous story to lie to me about. I trust that he wouldn't create... Oh, God. I'm still sick a little bit. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I'm still a little bit sick. Like, it's in my lungs, you know? That's where it is. All this mucus and shit is in my lungs. It's gross. I trust that he wouldn't create such an elaborate tale about something so important, so as hard as it was to accept his story. I did. Lyle still has a look of disbelief on their face, staring at me in confusion. Just like that? That's the only reason? Stop trying to change the subject. I'm really disappointed in you, Lyle. Hurt wells up inside me, causing my throat to close for a moment, and I have to swallow repeatedly before I can continue. And to think, while you were making accusations about Kylan being untrustworthy and a traitor, you're the one who has been lying to me all along and betraying my trust. Yeah, we don't care. I like how I'm just like, yeah, we don't care about that. Why? Why didn't you tell me before? Okay. I let the hurt I've been suppressing finally show on my face and in my tone, and Kylan winces, his eyes a mixture of guilt, regret, and sorrow. Ailey, I'm sorry. I wanted to. I couldn't. I didn't want this. I didn't want to do any of this. Please, Aelia, you have to believe me. Please, just listen. He choked slightly, sounding almost close to tears, but I cut him off. I'm not going to listen to anything else you say. I wouldn't believe a single word that comes out of your mouth anymore. I realized with embarrassment that my hand is shaking, and for half a second, I imagined stabbing this traitor, but the thought is gone as quickly as it came. I can't do this. I slid my sword back into place, turning around without a word. Aelia, wait! Please, can we just... No. Don't come after me. I don't want to see you again. I mean it. Teddy, let's go. Teddy, who has been looking at blah, 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 blah. We don't care. We are going to stay silent. No. I don't really know what's going on and why Lyle is not under the mind-altering spell like the rest of the guild members, but there's something fishy about this. Lyle knows more than they're letting on, and until I know what they're up to and that they are trustworthy, I don't want to say anything rash. A small voice in my head whispers that I just don't want to see Kylan get in trouble, but I quickly shove that thought aside. I don't care what happens to him. Aelia? I focus my gaze on the ground, ignoring Lyle's prompt. Lyle seems to realize that I'm not going to tell them what they want to know, and they sigh, the sound full of frustration. Aelia, look, this is important. It's for AIRIS, so... Don't you dare try to insinuate that I'm disloyal to my country after everything I've done for AIRIS, including agreeing to literally having my body possessed at random intervals. Lyle closes their mouth without another word, merely staring at me with the silent request in their eyes. Aelia. The familiar voice causes me to stiffen, and I keep my gaze. We're just fine. Well, this is all fine. This is all fine. We're all fine. Thank you for telling me your story, but I can't just forgive what you've done. Yep. Carolyn visibly deflates at my words, his shoulders slumping in disappointment. I know. I don't expect you to. That's not why I told you. I just wanted to apologize and try to explain. No, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry. Then, why did you tell me all this, Kylan? Kylan shakes his head with a low, hollow laugh. I don't know. I just wanted to let you know the truth. You're the first person I've become close to since I arrived here in AIRIS, and I've lied to you too much, too long. I thought nothing. It doesn't matter anymore. I've never seen Kylan like this, looking like the wind is taken out of his sails, his head hanging low in shame. Yeah, we don't care. Yeah, we don't care! I like how I keep repeating that. It's wonderful. Do I care if Kylan lives or not? I don't want him to die. Yeah, we don't want him to die. I don't want him to die. Why? Even after everything he's done to AIRIS and to you? I can only shake my head, unsure how to make them understand when I can't understand it myself. Please. He saved my life. The bull was going to kill me, but he attacked it to grab its attention. It's not right to just let him die after he saved my life. Yeah, we're gonna skip all this. We don't care. Go to where the injured are. Yep, we're going to go to where the injured are. Just 2 minutes. If I don't see him anywhere, I'll leave. Looking around to make sure Teddy kept her word and really hasn't followed me, I change my course and head towards the camp. Injured but joyful vassals are everywhere, grinning at the victory even through the pain. A quick glance around tells me that none of the wounded are players. I suppose I'm not surprised. Things probably work differently for them in their game setting, though I do wonder what they do to heal their injuries. I didn't expect it to actually be able to find Kylan among the countless soldiers, so I find myself blinking in surprise when I catch a glimpse of familiar head of dark hair. Without thinking, I move to hide behind a tent, peeking around it at Kylan. He seems to have suffered some injuries to his leg and shoulder, which are being tended to by a healer. His fists are clenched, presumably from the pain, but he doesn't let out any sound even as his face contorts in agony. From this angle, I can't see him very well, but from what I can tell, his wounds don't seem to be very deep or serious. What's wrong with Kylan? After a while, Kylan gets up from his seat, smiling and thanking the healer. Instead of heading to the tents to rest, I watch as he hobbles towards a soldier who is bleeding from the head and waiting in line for their turn to be looked at by the healer. I can barely hide my surprise when Kylan retrieves some bandages from his bag and begins to help the injured, trying to stop their bleeding and bandaging the most pressing wounds, all while soothing them with a charming smile. Why is he acting so kind after everything he has done to AIRIS?
Why don't you go out and talk to him?
I almost jump out of my skin at Teddy's sudden voice sounding in my ear. Mother of souls! Teddy, you scared the soul out of me! What the hell are you doing here?
I should be asking you that. I thought you said you weren't going to check on Kylan? Yet, surprise, surprise, what do I find here?
A flush rising to my cheeks, I turn around and begin walking away from the camp. Teddy follows, grinning to herself.
You know, I don't know what happened to the two of you, but you clearly care for him a lot. Why don't you?
No, don't even say it. I don't care for him. I only went to make sure he's alive because he saved my life, and I don't want to owe him. We are not friends, and we never will be, let alone anything more than that. Teddy seems to be startled into silence, but I can feel her curious gaze burning a hole in my back as we continue walking.
You mean that?
Yes. Of course I do. He owes me and my country too much, more than he can ever repay. I have to keep my distance. It's the right thing to do. But of course we're not! We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. I want to help him redeem himself even slightly. I'll be damned if I'm wrong, but he appears to be genuine about wanting to redeem himself and set things right. He didn't have to tell me everything and confess his sins, but he did. That means something. I may not forgive him, but I can at least offer my help, especially when what he's trying to accomplish will be for the good of AIRIS, the country I've sworn to protect. God. Well, you want to redeem yourself, don't you? Curing the plague won't fix everything, but it's a good start. Don't ask so much. Just be grateful for my help. Kylan blinks rapidly, his lips parting, but not a sound comes out of his mouth. It takes him a minute to recover from his shock. I didn't expect this. I thought you would never... Yeah, we don't care. Why do I keep saying that? That's like the only thing I keep saying. We have had for you for a very long time, but we were unable to make an arrest because of lack of evidence. Now, thanks to Warrior Elia, we can finally put you away like you deserve. Kylan jerks slightly, his questioning gaze starting to mine, and I shake my head frantically. I'll ask, but I didn't tell them anything. Why do I feel so desperate for him to understand and believe that I didn't betray his trust? Kylan does deserve to be in prison, and if anything, I should have reported him myself, but... I trust you. I know it wasn't you. Kylan Remington, you are completely surrounded. There's no escape. Come out now with your arms above your head, or we will shoot. Yeah, we don't care. We're going to try to persuade the general that there's been a mistake. Oh, yeah. I don't know why. I can't even begin to understand it, but despite all my anger and hatred towards him, despite all the times I've said I won't forgive him, I'm filled with horror and fear as I watch this event unfold. I didn't want this to happen. Even though this is nothing less than what Kylan deserves for his crimes, I didn't want this to happen to him. No. He can't get executed or imprisoned before he finds a cure to the plague. And he has yet to tell me the last thing he had been keeping from me, too. General Alaric, certainly there has been a mistake. I've never come across any damning evidence against this man here, so it's impossible for me to be the evidence you needed to put him away. Whatever your sources say about what I've said must be mistaken. Warrior Elia, are you siding with the enemy? You know how we treat those who conspire with our traitors, right? Kylan squeezes my arm, shaking his head at me with wide and panicked eyes. Not worth it. Do you have anything else to say? Bowing my head, I swallow the words burning on the tip of my tongue and step aside. Oh, I thought so. Now, Kylan Remington, on last chance for you to surrender yourself to me before the archers open fire. One last chance, sorry. Hold your fire, I'm coming out. I calmly watched helplessly as Kylan makes his way out of the forest and into the open field, both hands above his head in surrender. The general fastens chains around Kylan's hands and takes his bag from him, tossing it to one of the... Yeah, we don't care. Don't even think about trying anything funny. We will hunt you down if it's the last thing we do. The general tips his hat at the lieutenant by his side and gestures towards me. Immediately I understand what he means, but I know there's no point in running. 5 soldiers rush forward to circle me, while the lieutenant casually strolls forward and grabs my arms, putting me into chains. Sorry, warrior, but just precautions. If you tell His Majesty what he wants to know, I'm sure this misunderstanding will be cleared up, and you'll be released in no time. Otherwise, you will be imprisoned for life or executed like Kylan. He doesn't need to say it out loud for me to understand. I have no choice but to nod, indicating my concession. Good, let's go back to the palace. His Majesty will be late. Waiting. Yeah, we don't care. You'll be staying down here until His Majesty is ready to talk to you. You have time to think about what course of action to take when you are summoned in front of His Majesty. I have to bite my tongue to keep myself from throwing a particularly fat, colorful string of curses at him. I can hear General Alaric whispering some instructions to yada 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 yada. We don't care. We're gonna continue. No, I have to. I've never told anyone about this, not even Lyle, but I didn't have to. because Lyle was part of the guild's rescue party that came too late to save my village, but just in time to save me. They saw everything first-handed. They offered me a place in the guild, and I've spent every day since then running from my past, pretending it never happened and trying to make up for my cowardice. As though that could make up for how I've let my village down. As though saving lives now would bring any of them back. I break off, unable to continue. I am not a hero, Kylan. I have a whole village of people's blood on my hands. I lived while they didn't because I was a selfish coward. So I'm not much better than you. Which is why I want you to have a chance to, fuck, I ruined it. Which is why I want you to have a chance to redeem yourself. Just like how I've been working endlessly the past 6 years as a warrior to protect the weak of AIRIS, the way I failed to do so on the day after harvest 6 years ago. So like, oh, we're 19. We're 19. Okay, because didn't it say that she was like 13 when everything went to shit? Yeah, pretty sure. So she's like 19 right now. I bury my face in my hands, my chest still heaving after my confession. Despite the tears pouring down my cheeks, I feel strangely lighter, like I can breathe easier after finally telling someone the terrible past I was responsible for. It wasn't your fault. You're just a child, Alia. It was normal to be scared. I was 13! See, there you go! I knew it! So she's 19. Interesting. I was far from just an ignorant child. I ran and let everyone in my village die. I was the most deplorable person, and I should never have lived. I should have died like the rest of them. Yeah, we don't care. I keep saying that. I feel like an asshole. I'm just like, yeah, we don't care about that. We're going to stay silent. Yeah, we're gonna stay silent. There's nothing to say. I have nothing left to say to him after he let me down time and time again. So I turn my face away, refusing to look at him. Carlin's eyes curling up into a ball at the corner of the cell. Like I said, I figured you wouldn't want to help me anymore after this. That's why I wanted to tell you before you did anything rash. I'm sorry. I truly am. Especially for keeping the truth from you for so long. Don't worry about me. Just save yourself when the king asks you what you know. But don't tell them about what I just told you. Anything except that. I don't bother to reply. Yeah, we don't care.
There is no use pretending you don't know. I have trusted sources informing me that you are in possession of the knowledge I seek, thanks to Kylan Remington's affections for you.
I jerk slightly at the mention of Kylan's feelings for me, my fist clenching tighter and my nails digging into my palm.
All I need is for you to repeat everything you know about Kylan Remington to me right now, and all your missteps will be forgiven.
Yeah, we don't care. No, it still doesn't change the fact that the best thing I can do for AIRIS right now is to let Kylan discover a cure to the plague and somehow stop his people from going through with their project. And he can't do that if he's left in the dungeons to rot or dead. I'm going to lie. Yeah, I'm gonna lie. General Lyric said they are relying on my evidence to put Kylan away, right? Maybe if I give contrary evidence that is in Kylan's favor. It's a long shot, but I have to try. I think your sources must be mistaken. Kylan Remington has never been anything but a faithful subject to your majesty. In fact, he has recently recruited me to aid him in his research to find a cure to the plague that has caused our country so much trouble in the last decade. I find it very difficult to believe that he would commit treason as accused. Wait, what? Wait, what? No, you're not a Kylan! What? What? Well, you're not a Kylan! You're the King Elite! What?
theory. King Leo is Kylan Remington. Confirmed! I'm gonna read this in his voice, though. So, you're saying we're falsely accusing him, then? Biting my lip at the king's silky tone, I bow my head, knowing better than to reply to that. The king gives a jerk of his head, and immediately 2 soldiers from the back of the room march forward, their heavy footsteps leading towards me. I'm very disappointed in you, Aelia. Maybe a few nights in the dungeons will change your mind. As expected, a moment later, yada 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 yada. I know you've never liked him, and you're one of the most loyal vassals I know. Why are you shattering 1,000 laws to help us escape from prison? Because you're my best friend, and I'm not going to just watch you die. I know you're not going to leave him behind, so both of you need to come with me, now. Everett, Ridgely, and a few others are creating a... we don't care. We are gonna slow down and wait for Kylan. It'd be worse if Kylan fell behind, and we have to double back for him. Realizing that I'm slowing my pace for Kylan, Lal shoots me an annoyed glance, but I press my lips together in stubbornness. Kylan finally manages to catch up to us, and he shoots me a grateful look, but I turn my face away. Just because we are currently outlaws together doesn't mean we're friends. How longer am I gonna be in denial about how I feel about him? God, our mad escape goes smoother than expected. Yeah, yada 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 yada. Yada yada yada. Yada yada. We are going to break the silence. In impatience, I find myself speaking first, causing Kylan to jump in surprise at my sudden voice. Just so you know, I didn't tell the king anything. Why didn't you? Because you would have gotten executed immediately, and you're more useful to AIRIS alive than dead. I know the king wouldn't listen to me, so I have no choice but to keep your secret. Is that the only reason why? I shoot him a sharp gaze that goes unnoticed in the darkness. Of course. What other reason could there be? I ignore the falseness in my voice and the way Kylan's shoulders seem to slap at my response. Oh, right. Of course. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't deserve it, but thank you nonetheless. Yeah. Yada yada yada. We don't care. Blah 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 blah. We're just doing this to get to the ending that we need. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. I want to give her a resounding yes, but I can't ignore the growing feeling of unhappiness deep down inside me. She's right. I didn't really mean it. Even though I should, I don't. Not that I'll ever admit that out loud. Still, I don't have to voice my thoughts for Teddy to guess what they are, and she gives me a triumphant smirk, chortling to herself.
See, you are such an idiot, Aelia. At least you didn't try to lie to yourself further. I mean, were you really trying to convince me that you willingly lied to the king and gave up everything, becoming an outlaw, just because you felt it was the right thing to do and not because you have feelings for him?
Scowling at Teddy's arrogant amusement, I turn away and busy myself with my task. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure you don't. Now that I've knocked some sense into you, I'm going back to sleep. Try not to wake me up before dinner. Wake me for dinner.
Before long, Teddy's soft snores begin drifting through the air, but I find it difficult to smile in fondness as usual. Teddy may be right, but does it matter? No, it doesn't. I've made too many mistakes already when it comes to Kylan. This has to end here, even if I don't want it to. Yeah, we're gonna skip it a little bit. We are gonna say. We're gonna say fine. We're gonna say fine. It'd just be for a few hours. It couldn't hurt. After all, Kylan's leaving soon, and this might be the last time I get to spend time with him. So, still not meeting him in the eyes, I give a small jerk of my head in agreement. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice Kylan breaking out into a brilliant smile, lighting up his entire face. The breath catches in my throat slightly, but I hurriedly move my gaze away. Great, let's leave now. Right now? Kylan's smile merely grows at my surprise, and he gives an eager nod. The earlier the better. We don't have much time after all. Once again, against my better judgment. Wait, oh. Thank you for agreeing to come with me, Aelia. Turning his dagger over repeatedly in my hand, a non-committal hum is my only response, but Kylan doesn't seem deterred. I feel like we haven't had a chance to really. Knowing what he wants to say, cut him off abruptly. I don't want to go there with him. Yeah. Even though I was the one who told him not to speak to me, I can't help but feel irrational annoyance at the fact that he accepted it so easily without even any further attempts. Caught up in my thoughts, I don't even realize where we've ended up until Kylan's footsteps suddenly slow to a halt, making me lift my head with a scowl. Oh. Perhaps overwhelmed by the sudden memories of the last time we were here, the last time he picked a wildflower for me, I stay frozen to the ground, not pushing him away. Kylan tucks the stem of the floor. He put floor in my head. What? That's so romantic. Oh yeah, baby, I love it when you put floor in my hair. Carefully, Kylan tucks the stem of the flower into my hair and lets his arm fall away. The flower, without his hand holding it up, slides down my hair, resting against my ear. I know I've done terrible things, but I'm trying to change. I have changed since I met you, meeting you, seeing how devoted you are to your cause, how kind and wonderful you are to everyone. Being with you, it made me realize I want to change. I want to be the kind of man who deserves your love. My eyes widen further at Kylan's implication, and a slow blush rises to my cheeks. His gentle smile remains, his eyes soft and sorrowful. Yeah, I know I still have a long way to go, blah, 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 Just one minute. The breath catches my throat, and despite my greatest attempts, I can't tear my eyes away from his sea green eyes. The hesitant hope in them tugging at my heartstrings. I realize with a start that Kylan is right. He has changed, perhaps more than we both realize. Somewhere along the way, his charming, self-assured, smooth demeanor has melted away, leaving behind his true self, insecure, passionate, and flawed. So very flawed. Perhaps more surprisingly is how much I've changed as well. To be made breathless by a simple speech from Kylan that isn't even a declaration of love. I still haven't spoken a word, but Kylan seems to sense the change in my attitude, the tense atmosphere around us melting into one that's more peaceful, almost sweet. Ah, boy! 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 I'm gonna die! This is how I kill myself. Slowly he leans in. Boy! Oh, you're getting me all fired up right now, man! Oh boy! Oh God! I feel my face getting hot already. Like, oh boy! I need some help. I need some help. Okay. I'm such a girl. I'm such a girl. Slowly he leans in, his lips descending on mine, and I'm frozen in indecision, unable to move closer or away. He steps right when our lips are about to meet, hovering there silently. I understand his unspoken question, and I find myself dipping my head in a tiny nod. Oh no. Ah! Boy! 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 I'm okay. I'm okay. What do you mean I'm not okay? I'm fine. What about you guys? Are you fine? I'm fine. You know, I'm fine. Ooh, I'm totally fine. My face, I'm not blushing or anything. Good thing you can't see me.
Good thing.
His hand comes up to rest against my cheek gently, the warmth causing a shock to jolt through my body. Giving into the part of me who has missed him desperately these few weeks, I place mine on top of his, leaning my head into his palm. Our lips finally touch. The kiss is gentle, sweet, uncertain, speaking of sorrow and regret and longing. I can almost feel his desperate wish that things were different, that he had never committed all the crimes he did, that he doesn't have to leave. Kylan pulls away far too soon, but I force my arm to fall to my side instead of reaching out for him. Neither of us speak for a long moment, just staring at each other, speechless from what has just occurred. Yeah, no shit! I'd be pretty fucking speechless too! I wouldn't even look at him! I'd just be like, what the fuck? Why? Why did this happen? Why? I need a drink. Oh god. One day, I will lose my voice from screaming like this. God. I try not to notice the way Kylan's eyes are roving over my face, as though he's ensuring he will remember every tiny detail of my facial features. Struck with sadness again at the reminder of Kylan's impending departure, I succumb to the urge to take his hand gently into mine. If he's surprised, it doesn't show on his face as his lips curve upwards into a happy, sweet smile. Even though we have yet to say a word, it's as though we have come to a silent agreement about his proposition. One day. Just one more day. With our original intentions forgotten, we begin to walk through the beautiful green field aimlessly, hand in hand, wishing this day would never end. Oh, but it does! It is!
You're still hiding in here, Alia?
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. One of Kylan's shoulders lifting a small shrug, a corner of his lips quirking up into a smile of such sorrow that my breath catches. I don't know. For you to remember me by. It's selfish, but I don't want you to forget me. A lump rises to my throat, and I have to shut my eyes as tears begin to sting. My hand tightens around the sword, the edges of the handle digging into my hand, but I'm oblivious to the pain. Without thinking, I step closer to him and pull him into my arms. His arms wrap around mine in an equally fierce hold, his face pressing against the top of my head. I'm sorry for everything. I know. I'm sorry too. I have nothing to apologize for. It's all my fault. In a moment of impulsiveness, I let the questions that have been haunting me for the past week fall from my lips. Is it safe? Will it really work? Will you be able to get home safely? It should be. They've done various testing on other animals. I'd be the first human tester, but I think everything will be fine. They wouldn't have asked me unless they were confident. Despite his reassurance, my fears don't leave me, and I tighten my arms around him as though I can keep him here with me forever. Standing there in his warm embrace, speechless from devastation and unspeakable fear about his safety, I finally realized that what I've been trying to deny all this time. I am in love with him. I have been for a long time, but I couldn't let myself admit it because I was angry at his lies, and I couldn't let myself be with a heinous criminal. I don't want him to leave. I don't want to lose him. For a brief moment, I'm struck with hesitation. I know AIRIS would have its best chance if Kylan returns home to his land to fix the problems, but even before Kylan was offered a way to return home, I believed he would be able to save us, even if he's physically in AIRIS. It might be slower and more difficult, but I believe that Kylan can come up with a solution to our problems still, without going back to Earth. Stay. Kylan stiffens in my arms from shock, and it's a long moment before he speaks. You mean that? Suddenly feeling shy, I duck my head and keep my face buried in his chest so I don't have to look up at his reaction. Yes. I thought you said you wouldn't forgive me. I haven't. You still need to work on earning my forgiveness, but I I have a feeling you'd get there, and I don't want you to be literally in another realm when that happens. When Carlin finally replies, his voice clearly thick with emotion. You'd give me a chance to stay by your side and work to redeem myself? Yes. Suddenly hit by a wave of uncertainty, I pull away and take a few steps backwards, turning away from him. That is, if you're willing to leave your life on Earth behind. I know you have a blooming career, wonderful life, and a waiting family member back there, so I understand if you wouldn't want to stay. Are you crazy? Of course I want to stay with you. But what about, everything? I promise I'll continue working on a cure to the plague, and I'll find a way to protect AIRIS from Earth, but what if I fail? Would you regret it? Would you resent me and hate me for failing? Would I? Would I grow to resent him and regret my decision to ask him to stay? I don't know. I can't imagine it. We still have time before the Earthlings make their first move, since Kylan mentioned the project is still in the very early stages. Until then, Kylan has a chance to discover a cure and prevent the tragedy from happening. There's plenty of time, and I don't want him to leave me behind. Closing my eyes, I take a deep breath before reopening them. I walk up to Kylan and take his hand into mine gently, intertwining our fingers together. Failure isn't in your dictionary, remember? As for the rest, we'll figure it out. Together. Kylan's shoulders finally relax as the breath rushes out of him in a loud exhale. His lips curl upwards into a relieved, breathtaking smile as he clutches my hand tighter. Yes, together.
Oh, look at that! We got a sword on our. Oh, is that the sword he gave us? Oh, I didn't even notice that before. Wow!
Are you done yet? Not yet. Hold on for just a little longer. Clenching my teeth, I let out a groan as I continue trying to hold down the bull. The captured creature continues thrashing, roaring in anger and struggling against Lau's magic. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the ending. Can you hurry up? The spell won't hold for much longer. It's going to break. Almost. From my angle, I can't really see what Kylan is doing, but I know he's injecting his latest version of the cure into the neck of the bull. I'm done. Now we just need to wait for it to take effect. With any luck, it should only take a minute. Kylan straightens and backs away from the still struggling bull, wiping the sweat off his forehead with the back of his hand. We all begin to stare at the bull, waiting with bated breath. Inwardly, I send one prayer after another to the mothers, asking for their blessing for a miracle, for Kylan to finally discover the cure to the plague. When the bull's thrashing lessens, I almost thought it's my own imagination, but the excited glint in Kylan's eyes tells me that I'm not the only one who has noticed. Gradually, the bull goes still. If it weren't for the steady rising of its stomach, I would have thought Kylan had messed up and accidentally killed the creature. Carefully, I climb to my feet and stare down at the bull. The aggressive, crazed look in its eye is gone, and instead, it's replaced by calmness and gratitude, almost as though it understood that Kylan had rid of the plague. Unable to believe my eyes, I can only gape at the creature in front of me. It worked. After all those failed tests and sleepless nights and hours of despair, it finally... Mother of life, I can't believe it actually worked! Lau's outburst breaks the spell of silence over us, and still dazed. I find myself in Kylan's excited embrace as he babbles on in triumph and exhilaration about his success. Next, just Lau lowers their staff, letting the spell of restraint fade from the bull. It climbs to its feet, shaking its head with a loud snort, but makes no attempt to attack us again. Wow. Only then does it finally sink in. Grabbing Kylan's head, I pull him down and press a quick, hard kiss on his lips.
You did it! Mother of life, you did it! I told you you could do it!
You can do it. Kylan lets out a low laugh, pressing his forehead against mine. Honestly, I was starting to think I couldn't. I need to go tell the king about this. Be prepared to start creating the cure in large quantities. We need to distribute the cure to all the creatures in the land as soon as possible. Of course. Thank you for your help, Lal. Lal flashes us a brief smile before hurrying away, no doubt anxious to report the latest development to King Leo. Still overjoyed, I wrap my arms around Kylan, hugging him tight. Thank you. I'm so proud of you. Do you think we'll be allowed to return to the city now? I think so. I held up my end of the deal by finding a cure without stepping foot in the city. He asked to uphold his end by lifting the bounty on our heads and letting us return to the city in peace. It takes everything in me to suppress the squeal of delight at the thought of finally returning to the city after all these months. I'll finally be able to meet my friends in broad daylight again. Lyle, Evra, Ridri.
Who the fuck is Ridri? We don't know who Ridri is! Will we ever get to meet who she is? Or he? I don't know who the fuck Ridri is.
I don't know what the fuck Ridri is. I still can't believe you even got him to agree to that deal. I thought you would hunt us down forever. It helps when your messenger is a highly ranked earthling player. My grin fades at the reminder of the main problem, the players, the guild. I know, don't worry. We'll work on that as soon as we get back to the city. We've taken care of the problem of the plague. We'll figure out how to free the guild soon. At Kylan's reassurance, I push the troubled thoughts aside and smile at him. Today is a day for celebration, not worries. Yes, of course, you're right. We should hurry and get home so we can start recreating the cure. We're going to need a lot of bottles to cure all the species. Giving him one more kiss, I tug on his arm, intending to make our way down the mountain, but Kylan shakes his head. Wait, before we go, there's something I need to ask first. What is it? In that questioning look, Kylan's expression turned solemn. Ignoring my confusion, he places his hands on my shoulders and turns my body until I'm facing him fully. Then he takes my hands into his, holding them tightly and staring deep into my eyes. Aelia, you've had my heart since the moment you rushed up to me in the forest, ranting about how worried you were about my disappearance after the battle. That was the first time in years that I felt a person's genuine concern, and to think you cared about me and treated me like an important friend even after a rocky start, and my suspicious, secretive ways meant the world to me. Confused, I let out a small laugh, tugging one hand away from his grasp and pressing my palm against his cheek. I know that. You've told me that before. Why are you saying this now? Because I'm trying to propose here, you idiot. My eyes widen and I almost choke on thin air in surprise, causing Kylan to grin in amusement at me. I've wanted to propose since the night you told me you forgave me for my sins, but I've been waiting until I prove myself worthy of your love and your forgiveness, until I manage to set at least one thing right. Now that the first step is complete, I finally feel as though I've come far enough in my path of redemption to ask for your hand. Oh boy! So Kylan breaks off with a chuckle, touching my lips with a gentle smile. Why are you grinning at me like an idiot? You're distracting me from my rehearsed speech. Because it's a yes! Of course I'll marry you. Look at that man! He's like, what? Oh, it's just a prank! This time it's Kylan's turn to blink at me dumbly in surprise. It doesn't take long for him to recover, and when he does, a wide grin spreads across his face and he wraps his arms around me, pulling me close. You feel? Really? No! It's all a prank! You're on TV! I said I will. What, are you going deaf already at this age? Is this what I'll have to put up with for the rest of my life? Yes, and you love it. Kylan shakes his head at my teasing, but when he speaks again, his voice is trembling from emotion. Thank you. You have no idea how happy I am. To think someone like I could... I love you, Aelia. I glance up at Kylan's euphoric expression, and then at the newly cured bull, strolling calmly down the path, and my heart swells with hope and joy for the first time in months. No, possibly years. Slowly, I stand up on my tiptoes and press a gentle kiss to the lips of the man responsible for the initial despair and the subsequent hope and love. I can feel him smile against my mouth, and I pull away with my own grin. I love you too, Kylan. Oh, that was so great. Oh, and that was like an hour and 10 minutes. Oh my god. But wow, that was so nice. Wow. That was so great. I loved it. I love it. I love this game. It's so good. So good. And then next time we will do the other two, or the third ending. And then next time, actually it looks like we can actually complete both the last two endings next episode, because the third ending is probably gonna be take a little while. The fourth one is just like you have to do one thing. You have to load save file form and then just do one little thing. Just choose one little option, and that's it. That's it. But yeah. If you guys enjoyed this episode of AIRIS, leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell, and remember, die safely. Bye-bye!